Okay, welcome to another wonderful day of Photoshop Party. Today we have Dan Holmes back for Lightroom Part 2. Part 2. Part 2? We're going to do French today. Part 2. So, Dan, I'm going to turn it over to you. I don't need to intro you because most of these people were here before and know what's going on.
Yeah, okay. All right, folks, everybody go ahead and unmute yourself like last time so then I can hear you grunt and groan when we say something that doesn't make sense. Ask questions. I thought today we would go dig deeper into, again, the library. And we'll start right-clicking and seeing some of the other nice features of library and managing your inventory, your photo inventory. So right off the bat, what are a couple of things that we picked up last time that you should always remember? Laura, Mike.
To call Dan when you have a question.
That's already happened.
Worked for me twice.
Okay, what is probably, Mel, you know this one, what is the most important thing to do?
Back up.
Back it up. Yep. Even more so when you're working in the catalog.
Don't move things outside of the catalog.
Oh, that's a big one. That is a big one. Just do it within the catalog. And the big thing is save metadata to file. Okay. I actually clicked mine on in the preferences, and I'm not noticing any difference in the performance of my catalog. So it's actually kind of nice. Now I don't even have to worry about it. So as we started last time, we remember we walked around the Lightroom, get that out of the way, the Lightroom circle from clockwise, from import up through your folders. Again, I don't do much in the catalog. I don't do much in the navigator, but they're good tools to have. We walked around and we looked at over here. Let's see, control, here we go. Aha, my brother just told me about that. We talked about keywords. We talked about keyword sets. And we talked about metadata. Okay, for all of us who used to shoot film, how many of you actually took that little notepad and did all of those, wrote down all the characters of the picture that you took? Well, we don't have to do that anymore. It's right here. This is really awesome stuff. Here's all of the information that comes out of your camera. The exposure, the focal length of your lens, exposure bias, which is pretty cool. I use this all the time. ISO, flash, and it knows if the flash fired or not. Your program, metering mode, the camera, the serial number of your camera, which is actually pretty awesome, and the lens. So all of this stuff is included in the metadata of your camera. I jump back and forth to this fairly often, and many times if you're entering a contest or wanting to post a picture, they will ask you for that information, and here it is. I am generally here on IPTC. Does anybody actually know what that stands for? I don't, and I don't really care.
I could Google it.
And so here's all this great metadata that we can add to it. And remember, if anybody wants a copy of my copyright terms, just let me know and I can put that out to you. I could probably actually put that in the chat. So were there any questions so far about this first circle that we covered last time?
Yes.
Cool. What, Laura?
So the one thing, I've been keywording a bunch of stuff,
Nice.
and they're all under the same general category, their main category. And so there's two things. Number one, how do I do a set? Because I have a bunch of keywords and they all keep coming up. I mean, if I repeat one, obviously they autofill. But how do I create a set? And also, I've noticed that if I do a selection of more than one in the film strip at the bottom, as opposed to the grid, I cannot keyword them all. I can in the grid, but I cannot in the film strip. Is that correct?
Yep, that is a given.
Okay.
You know, see here, I've got this one. Yeah, if you are in the strip, it will only keyword the one that is actually highlighted.
Okay. Okay.
But if you highlight those here,
right, and that's what I was doing, is going back up
it will
there.
all go in. Okay,
And then
great.
how do you create a set?
Yes, I love these sets, and I wish I would have used this a long time ago. So Control Spin, ha ha ha. Click on the buttons, come down here to Edit Set. And here you type in your keywords that you want to use. For this one, my preset I've named Mountain Scenes. Mountain lakes, dramatic skies, mountains, lake, anything you want.
And you're limited to the 9?
Yes.
Is that okay?
Yeah,
Right,
for this.
that's why, okay.
And then, like every dialog box that comes up in Lightroom, you've got the options down here of create new preset, restore default. I haven't ever used that one. Delete, which I actually have, and or rename. And you'll end up with, see, there's a lot of them here that I probably don't need anymore. Old United Kingdom churches. No, actually, I think I'll probably keep that. I might have another gravestone sometime. So these keyword sets are a great tool. Okay?
Thank you.
Anything else? Any other questions from what we covered last time? All right. So I came across this one. Well, just a little bit more about living and working inside Lightroom instead of in the Finder or Windows. Here's my file structure. My brother would appreciate the pain I went through to come up with a filing structure that works for me. And this actually does now. I put them in by year, but then once I'm into the year, like I've got the date, 19/11/11, Rotary Dogs and Cespi. Okay, some people can live just by date alone. I cannot. God, I can't even remember yesterday's date. I'll have the date and a memory kicker. Rotary Dogs and Cespi. Okay, I remember that trip. It was a Rotary meeting at dog rescue place. Then when I do the import, I import and it's set up to drop the photos off the card into separate days. So 2019/11/06, there's all the pictures that came in that day, which is really nice when it comes to keywording. And then, oh, I've got another one here. Oh, this one has nothing to do with the Rotary Dogs. This is actually fall colors in the Cespi. Okay, so let's fix that. So right now I'm going to rename this folder. I'm gonna right click, and for those that don't have a right click, it's I think it's option click, and you'll come up with these selections. I'm going to rename this folder. Oh, okay, 2019/11/10. So I'm gonna go 19/11/10 Cespi fall colors.
If you don't have a right click on your mouse, it's control click on a Mac.
Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome.
I am so used to right clicking, I never use that.
Yep.
You can
Save.
you can also turn on right click on the magic mouse, I found out.
Oh, yeah, on the Apple mouse, I'm sure you can. I've got a Logitech that just seems to work. Okay, so look, I have renamed that, but it is now still in Rotary Dogs and Cesspy. That doesn't work. So I'm going to drag it up here to my mother folder. Voila. And it is moved. And it moved it on my Finder. So I did not lose track of where it was. Okay, so remember, do everything inside Lightroom. Now my folder structure, just a little bit about it, is I will have the my DNGs or raw files in a folder, and actually 107, I'm going to do that. Then when I actually finish an image that I've taken to Photoshop and completed it, let's see, go back. I rename that file. Actually, I just add a suffix. And I just add the word master. So I no longer struggle with trying to keep track of different versions. This master file has all my layers and all of the work that I've done in Photoshop. So if I want to create a new version, I go back to the master file. But remember, this part of the file name never changes. Okay, that never changes. And we're also dealing with a file name, not a title. Title comes down here. You can have multiple pictures with the same title. You cannot have multiple pictures with the same file name. Okay, I'll just call this golden tree. Oh, that's a sycamore. No, that's a cottonwood, golden cottonwood. Okay, and for some reason in Lightroom, this is a title and this is also the title. Okay, really important, title, not file name. Has anybody struggled with using titles as file names and you run out of titles?
Yes.
Thank you, Bruce. That was a long, hard lesson, especially when I was scanning, because it was really easy just to say, okay, this file name now becomes golden cottonwood. Well, what happens the next time I shoot a golden cottonwood? Well, it becomes golden cottonwood 2, golden cottonwood 3, golden cottonwood 4. Really easy to lose track. Titles are for competition. File names are for filing.
Dan,
Yes, Bruce.
when you're taking image out of, or you have an image selected that you want to edit in Photoshop.
Yes.
I typically, a lot of times will say, create a new file, and it automatically makes it in this exactly the same directory. How do you go about that so you can keep this structure that you have?
Okay, this is awesome. Well, let's see. Let's just pick this guy here. Okay. I will go into Photoshop. Again, right click. There's a couple of ways to do this, but I'll go to right click, edit in Photoshop. And it takes a little bit to go in. And this actually, Bruce, leads right into the next thing I wanted to cover. So thank you for that question.
And may I ask a question in the meantime?
Yes, Joe.
You went from golden cottonwood to golden cottonwood 2 and 3, etc. You said that you can use the same title over and over again. It's the file name you can't use. We know that. Why golden cottonwood 2, 3, whatever?
Oh, perfect. Actually, I was just using that as an example. I rarely do. It's always better to have a separate title because I can search later for golden cottonwood, and I wouldn't want to have 5 or 6 of them show up.
Why not?
Uh,
You then have the choice of which one you like best,
yeah,
or the client likes best.
yeah, you can't. It's just cleaner. Well, that's what's going on here. It's cleaner just to have one title. Right. Okay.
Per image.
Yeah, per image.
Okay, thank you.
There we go. Okay, so what we're going to do, we'll add curves and levels, just a little bit of change here. And, okay, we're going to call that good. So now I've added 2 levels, or two layers, and I have a preset that, again, gets me pretty well started in Photoshop. I had a curve level and a levels level layer, and just a nice finishing touch. So I can say, okay, this is done. Save as, and at this point now is where I will come in and type in master and CISP fall colors. There's my master folder. Now I will save it. And it is saving into that folder. It's there. I'll come back to Lightroom.
Are you saving your layers as well when you do that?
Absolutely, Mike.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. That was another hard lesson learned because in the end, oh gosh. And I read about it all the time on social webs. People talking about all the different versions. Okay, I would create one version, finish it. Well, I don't want to save this big file, so I would flatten it and save the smaller file. Then come back later and say, oh, I want to do some more work. Create version 2, flatten it, save all the levels, the layers. Pretty soon I got 5 or 6 versions, and I go, which one is the one I want? So it's a whole lot better to save one version of the master file with all the layers. Boom. Then if I want to go back, create a black and white version, do whatever, I go back to the master file. Okay. And here it showed up as a master. With the file name. Jim was right. It is a little bit hicky. Okay. Sometimes, and I don't know why, sometimes I'll do that save as, and it won't show up here in the actual folder. So what I'm going to do here, oh, it's gone, but I know it's there. I don't know if it's a hiccup between Lightroom and Photoshop, but sometimes I'll do that save, it does not show up. But I know it's there. What the heck do I do? Problem solved. Right click on the folder. Now this is something new we did not talk about, except Lauren knows this trick now. Synchronize folder. Synchronizing keeps your Lightroom catalog up to date with the latest changes you have made. This is what you can use when it doesn't show up, or when you've forgotten and you're a bad person and you've done some changes on the computer and not in Lightroom. Import new photos. Show import dialog before importing. Yes. Scan for meta updates. Yes. Synchronize. It opens up the dialog box, and there is the photo. Now we come along, and at this point, this has happened, I've done this several times, I'll forget. The develop presets, this is a sticky switch. Once you've done this, if I've done an import, those presets are going to show up. okay, when the import box opens up. I don't want to do this because this is going to apply that preset to this photo, and I don't want that to happen. So none and none. Can add a keyword here if I wanted, but I generally don't do it here. Click import. It's thinking. Dunk. That's always a nice sound. And there is the photo. Okay, but it's only showing one. What's going on? Okay. Where did this go? Okay, so next trick. I love this, and I use this all the time. There's a cool thing here, show in Finder. I guess on a Windows version, it would show in Windows. Go to folder in the library. Ha, where is that picture? There it is. Go to folder in the library. I do this all the time. Okay, so there we've got Sesame Fall Colors, the date.
Because it's showing the last import.
What's that, Mel?
Is that because what it's showing you is just the last import and not all the images within that folder?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's just a step. I don't really know why it does it, but it does it. Okay. So, and if we'll see here, okay, my file name, 191110, matches up with my folder name, 191110, which is actually kind of convenient. Cool thing about using this date format in front is the most current photograph, the most current folder is always at the bottom, which is awesome. Okay, so I keep these open until they're fairly well finished, and then when I'm done, I will just drag this Rotary Dogs and Sespe. Oh, let's see, let's get rid of that Sespe. Done. I'm going to drag that up into the 2019 folder. And there's everything that's in the 2019 folder. Okay. Any questions so far on that stuff?
Rename was just a right click.
Yes, right click, rename.
Thank you.
And
Hey, Dan, I may have
Yeah.
missed this. Where are you deciding on dropping stuff into a year folder versus leaving it out at the root level? Like
oh, that sounds like Brother Jim.
No comment.
Kind of when I'm done with it, Jim.
Okay, so working versus sort of archiving.
Yeah. Now I have them pretty much archived in here. I've evolved my system to this is much simpler now, much easier. I used to try and put them into category folders like Eastern Sierra or Hawaii or Canada. I no longer do that. I just archive them here by year. And within that year, there's all of the different shoots from that year. And then to dig deeper to find imagery from that year or any year, I will use keyword search.
Okay.
And that's really powerful. So somebody once told me is don't try and do too much with your folder structure. Sound familiar, Jim?
Mike?
Yes. And I'm forever grateful for that. A lot of us try to manage and find our images with too much information in the folder structure. And that only works with up to maybe a couple of thousand photos. Once you get over that, you cannot remember where you put stuff.
Yeah, the keyword stuff's been very helpful for me. I was just wondering about that stuff that you still had out in the root, but it sounds like this is kind of part of your workflow, if I'm understanding that correctly, that
Yes.
you leave it at that top level, do your stuff, and then move it over into the other folder. Did I get that right?
Yes, pretty much so.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. And see, I've got several 2019s that are done. I haven't really done anything with these deers. There's no hard or fast reason to pull it into here, but it does make it a lot smaller, because if we open all of these working folders, it gets pretty big. Oh, there's iPhone pictures there. Let's close that. Okay, now there's another slick little trick that's kind of hidden, and you'll see just all of a sudden all of my folders are open. And that's huge, unworkable. So I'm going to come back here to the mother folder, click on the arrow. If I close it, it closes them all. If I open it, they're all still open. If I hit Option key, it closes them all. Option click, and there we go, it opens them all. That's actually kind of a slick little tool. And that's kind of a hidden little gizmo. Option click, and everything's closed again. So I may want to go into 2019. Option click this guy, and it opens all of the folders. Anybody know that?
I did not.
Slick little trick.
Good trick. Cool trick.
Okay. And let me here we go. Once you get that little moving thing open, you can open or close the side window. One thing that Mac does, it allows you to go as big as you want. That doesn't exist on Windows. Sorry, Windows users, because sometimes your folder hierarchy gets really long. So you can do that again by hitting the Option button, and then you can drag that pretty much as big as you're going to need it. Okay.
Dan, I've got a question that could be an entire party.
Good.
How do you take care of duplications? Because I unfortunately have lots of duplicates throughout my system. How do I identify that are duplicate? And then how do I make sure that I only keep the most recent one?
Oh, yeah. That's a big job, and I've actually taken a couple of clients' computers and said, just leave it with me, come back in a week. And and I've had to do it, I don't have them now. Let's just pretend, let's see. Okay, the first thing, that's actually another party, Bruce.
Yeah, okay.
You can sort. Let me get that out of the way.
If I can add something on that, CC Cleaner, which I know is made for Windows, I don't know about Macs, there is a tool within it that will identify duplicate files on your system.
That might help. I've done it a couple of different ways. you can come up and let's see, let's get to this guy here. We're going to go to folder and library. Okay, there's 313, and these pictures were taken by somebody else, but okay. And you can come up and go to view, sort by capture time. Because sometimes when you import, you may end up, I've had people end up with different names on their duplicates. Okay, but if I sorted hers by, or theirs, by capture time, then I can kind of come in and go, okay, dupe, that's a 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 dupe. Then I'll flag them with a color. I'll use red. And then I can come in and, or I can actually also flag them with an X. Which start with, end with. And sometimes I end up just kind of guessing and checking which one of these I want to use. Now, give me all my 5-star mountains from 2019. Oh, there we go. Give me all my Give me all my 4 stars from 2019 with mountains in it. Okay. And I can do that here at any level. Right now I'm just searching in 2019. I can do that same search for working folder, 9,000 pictures. And there we go. There's all my 4 stars with the word mountains in it. Let's see. Let's take key searchable metadata. And I'm going to say Levining. Thinking, and there we go. I have 225 4-star pictures from Levining. Questions on the search part? Have you guys been using this?
Yes. Dan, I do have a question on it.
Please, Bruce.
Sometimes I want to search for a particular word, but then also not include a certain group. Is there a way within that text area to say, okay, yes, I want this, but then do not look at this, like put a negative sign on in front of it or something like that?
Ooh. You might have stumped me, because we can have contains word doesn't contain, but I don't know. Because you can put, you know, multiple words in with a comma, thinking. But I don't know about doing a negative, Bruce. Oh, there we go. It worked. Glad when that happens. I haven't ever done a plus and a minus. I might need to search on that.
Okay.
Dan, is there any way to put multiple search criteria in, like you can on like the Finder level in the Mac?
Yes. Okay. So here we got Levining, and we've got 255, and let's see. Let's add comma sunset.
Right. I mean, as a separate line, in the Finder, you can actually, you know, you can search Word documents, and then you can search that contain the word photo as a separate. So they're separate lines. It looks like there's no way to add a second search line.
Oh, right.
Which would get to what Bruce wants to do, where you could do one and then do a secondary search.
Yes, Bruce. As soon as I said that, yes, you can do that, but you would do it in a smart collection.
Oh, okay.
Okay, because a smart collection, you can add multiple search text criteria.
There you go.
Yes. And actually, I think I might have done that. Another cool option here is up
Fill
here.
me in about what you're saying with the smart collection.
We'll rotate around to smart collections in a minute. Okay, now we're searching under metadata up here. And then this window opens up with all of these great choices. So here I can search by date. I can search by file type. Give me all my DNGs. There's 2,310 DNGs. There are 1,875 JPEGs. There's 5 PSDs. I don't know why I saved those as PSDs. There's 697 RAWs. 4 videos. Flags, ratings. You can search on all of these criteria. This is actually quite awesome too, by camera. Okay. In my working folder, there's 5D, Mark II, Mark III, Mark IV, Mark II, PowerShot. I don't remember what camera that is. iPhone, Nikon 810, which is really cool, and an unknown camera. Lens. How many pictures did I take with my 150-600? 435. How many did I shoot at 50? 2.8. So there's your aperture. And focal length is what I wanted. It's interesting here. I like to think how many pictures I just generally don't see in 50 millimeters. I see in bigger or smaller. So then you can do multiple searches here. You can add all of these criteria here.
Dan, you can also add more columns.
Oh, nice.
Go over to the label, the last one, the right side there, where it's got the little 3 lines.
Add column.
You can add columns with other criteria. When you add a column, click on the none, on the name there, I'm sorry.
Uh-huh.
And go up and you can add whatever criteria you want in there.
Awesome.
So you can have multiple searches within metadata.
This is cool. Didn't know that. Again, where there's something in Lightroom, click on it. I've rarely had to go past this, and this is actually a good way to clean up your keywords. Because here's all of the keywords used. Focal length, keyword, come on, keyword. There we go. And keywords, if you use keywords, they can end up running away from you. So this is really good stuff here. Anything else about this search function? All right. We'll come down here and we'll say all photos, get rid of that. Thinking. Okay. When you come in and Emma Woodson said, okay. Okay, so now I want to add a couple of keywords to all of these photos. I'm going to type in here and I'm going to say Rocky Shore. It already existed. Okay, but I don't want to go in and select and type into every single one. And this was all Ventura. So now the cool thing is I can select all come down here and say sync metadata. And this will take all of those changes and apply them to every single photo that you have selected. Boom. And that will be done. Sync settings. Let's go here to the raw file, the DNGs. So I can go into develop and let's just, for simple sake, make it black and white. Go back here to library, select all, and if I hit sync settings, it will take all of these settings that I just did and apply them to all of the photos. I guess I can do that. And it should turn them all black and white. Yep, there it goes. I don't really want that to happen. So she's thinking, I'm going to hit Command Z. Undo synchronize settings. Undo select all. The nice thing about Lightroom is it goes backwards almost without limit on Command Z or undo. Okay. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, I showed you a little bit about using filters down here. These I use a lot. 2019, give me all my greater than 4 stars for 2019. And she's thinking, there they are. And remember we talked about using your rankings. How many 5 stars in 2019? 45 out of 10,000, which is probably about right. And then I might look at this later on and go, man, why did I, is that really a 5? No. That's going to go back to a 4. Boom. Now we need, okay. So we've kind of meandered our way all the way around. So let's take a look at collections. So from the last time I touched on collections just briefly. What is one of the real drawbacks of using collections? Does anybody remember?
They're not contained anywhere except here.
Bingo. Yep, Bruce, boy, you get the next prize. The collections here in Lightroom are not included in the metadata. Now, I used Expression Media for quite a while, and the collections there did go into the metadata, which is nice. The problem here is a lot of folks manage their inventory using collections. You lose your library, you lose your control of your inventory. So, let's just do this and text Hawk. Thinking, thinking, thinking.
You got about 5 more minutes, Dan.
Okay. Okay. Goes fast, Mike.
It does.
Okay, I'll use collections. Okay, we'll just jump to a smart collection. Smart collection is one where you can actually add criteria to make a smart search. And it shows up with this little starry thing. So here, We're just going to jump into Edit Smart Collection. And here's where you can add different criteria to make that smart collection. So I've labeled it Echo Lake. Any searchable text contains words, Echo Lake. Any searchable text contains words, desolation, sublocation. Okay, we're going to add another one. And we'll say keywords. And Bruce, this will work for you. Metadata, keywords. Doesn't contain geese. Save. And all the geese pictures. Oh, that didn't work. That didn't work because it took all of the pictures out of that whole folder that doesn't contain geese. Well, maybe that doesn't work, Bruce. It was a good try. So all of a sudden I went to a tremendous amount of pictures that have nothing to do with Echo Lake.
Yeah.
There may be a way of working around that, Bruce, but you can just play. So smart collections, I'll drag photos in. So here's a smart collection for national parks. The criteria. Searchable metadata contains national parks. I'm going to say other location, state is Utah. There's all of the pictures I have in national parks from Utah. So pretty good, powerful stuff. Great.
So are the images.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's a happy addiction. You can do a hierarchy of folders, and I do. Okay, calendars. So I do calendars every year from a couple of different places, and you can see I have a hierarchy, and this is really handy. So here, this is a Eastern Sierra. I will just drag pictures that have potential for this calendar from my whole inventory and drag them into this folder, into this collection. And then from this folder, I can go through a selection process and narrow it down easily then to the 12 pictures I want for the calendar. And from here, I can take it into Photoshop, I can size it for the calendar, and then I can also then export here and create a JPEG and have it completely ready to drop into the calendar. All right. Collections are an awesome tool. I use them a lot, but I don't use them to manage the inventory. I use them on projects. Anything else on collections?
How do you get your collections to show? Because like I've completely lost my collection tab.
Oh. The tab is gone. This, you can't see this, Mel?
Yeah. I know I have collections, but right now I see none of them.
Okay. Bump. That may be a Google search, Mel.
Okay. All right.
Because I know there's a function in Develop where you can hide everything but the one you're looking at.
Right.
And that probably applies here also.
Okay.
Google search, I think, because it's got to be there. Oh, that would be disastrous. I would hate to lose my collections.
Yeah, tell me about it.
It's easy fix.
And it just
Mel or
happened
Dan?
with one of the recent updates.
Okay, it's got to be a hiccup. Yes.
Dan, try under Window, Panels, and there's a flyout that looks like it might allow you to turn all that different stuff, including collections, on and off.
I'm sure there. Where do you see that?
So under Lightroom, at the very top, Lightroom Classic, go under Window, pull down to Panels.
That did
There
it.
we go.
That did it.
There you go.
There you go.
They're back.
Bingo, bingo.
He's the other genius in this group.
Awesome.
Dan, quick question.
Yes.
Can you have an image in more than one folder at the same time?
In the collections, you can.
Not in collections, but in the regular, in your regular folders.
Actually, yes, you can. It would be in two. It would be in two folders on your computer also.
That's fine.
It gets confusing to do that.
Okay, then let's not. Then don't, because
I would say don't, because you're going to end up with duplicates, and
Okay.
then as soon as you open up one, you lose track of which one you've actually worked on.
Okay.
Yeah. I would say not there. Find those images using your keywords. Okay. How we doing, Mike?
We are running out of time. We'll bring you back again.
Someday we'll hit develop.
There's another tab.
Is everybody good on export?
Reasonable.
Yes.
Okay, export is awesome. And then you can also create presets on exports. This is awesome. Here's my preset for Facebook, Google. We don't have Google Plus anymore. So all of these criteria, when I export, it creates a new image, puts it in a subfolder. Make sure you have add to catalog clicked, because otherwise you export it, you create it, and you can't see it. And then you've got to do a synchronize to find it. I don't even know why this option is there. Just leave that on all the time. Existing files, this is cool. It will ask you, are you sure you've got this, you've already got this file name in? Leave that on, Laura. This is great. File naming, you can create, I have a preset set for to rename it. You format, how you want to save it, the quality, color space, width and height. For Facebook, I find out that 900 by 900 at 72 is perfect. It's small enough that doesn't put a big file on Facebook, and you don't get any compression degradation in Facebook if you put in a relatively small file. Really easy to change. I just want to go to 1800, which sometimes I'll do with a panorama, and that just makes it a bigger file. Sharpen for screen. Include all metadata. It doesn't make any difference for Facebook because Facebook scrubs out all the metadata anyway, but I always do that. And here's where you can create watermarks. And I watermark everything that goes out on the web. It's just like signing your work. And I've got lots of different presets for watermarks. Hit export, and it does exactly what you tell it to do. And sometimes you really didn't want it to do what you told it to do. Okay. Cancel. All right. Well, that was a little different this time, other than we went through last time a process. This time was a little bit more hit and shoot at the different functions of the library. And the probably the biggest thing we have left to cover is we could dig deeper into collections. We could go deeper into file and folder structure. But I think we've pretty much covered the goodies of the library. Questions while we're at it?
Very good.
Yes, no, thank
Good job, Daniel.
oh, thank you. Great.
Thank you again.
And we'll negotiate another deal to get you back again.
Yay.
Yeah, I think next time we can actually go into the color crayons.
You promised crayons this time.
Ooh, so exciting.
Yeah, and then I was thinking about it. I said, oh, no, there's still a lot of stuff in the library. One of the things is go through and just click on these things. Find out what they do. There's awesome tools here. And since it is non-destructive, there's almost nothing you can do that will cause any damage.
I bet I could.
Yes.
Delete all.
There's always one.
Yes. Remember, when you hit delete, it gives you two options. And the nice thing is it comes up defaulting to remove. Remove takes it out of your catalog. It doesn't throw it to the trash. Delete from disk throws it to the trash. Okay.
Cool.
All right.
All right. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Shut me up, Mike, or I can keep going.
Thank you,
We'll
everybody.
bring you back again. All right. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you Thursday. Got no idea what we're going to do on Thursday. And then Tuesday, it'll be a surprise again. So
All right.
Yay.
thank you very much, folks.
Thanks all.
Michael.
Hey, guys.
Thank you,
Bye. Thank you.
Have a great day.